back. So today we are making banana bread, and this is what we will need: 3 whole ripe bananas, overripe bananas actually, cinnamon, and 2 extra large or large eggs, and then you will need allspice, ground allspice, bicarbonate of soda or baking soda, vanilla essence. Who does not love vanilla essence? Mixed spice. So if you don't have allspice, you will use mixed spice. And then you also need some nutmeg, some margarine or butter depending on what you have, brown sugar please, and some cake flour, and that's all we need. And I almost forgot, salt. So we first start with the bananas. So I start with the bananas because I just want to get them out of the way, because we want to mash them up. So the other thing is, if you don't already have overripe bananas at home, please don't worry. What you do is you take your regular bananas and you pop them either in your oven or your air fryer and just bake them up until the skin has blackened. Is it skin or peel? The peel, yes, has turned black. So that will make it nice and soft inside, and then it'll be easy to mash. So I'm mashing it up, and when you're mashing it up, I guess the consistency really depends on you, on how you like it. If you want to have a little bit, like some bits and pieces of banana, go ahead and mash it up until you have the consistency. Like if you don't want to have bits and pieces, just keep mashing that elbow grease until it's the consistency you like. I left a few bits and pieces in there because I did actually want to have the bits of bananas. So I set that aside, and then I start with my dry ingredients. So we first start with flour, which is 1 whole cup plus 3/4 of a cup. So 1 cup and 3/4 of flour. Of flour to the mix, because we don't really want to make a large batch. So you can always adjust these measurements to depending on how much you want. Sugar, we put 3/4 of a cup also of brown sugar. With white sugar, I don't know how it'll turn out with white sugar, so I just use brown sugar. And then we will need a teaspoon also of the following: bicarbonate of soda, or if you want to call it baking soda, but a teaspoon of that, and also a teaspoon of the salt that I almost forgot, but I remember it. So a teaspoon of salt, and then the following are going to be 1/2 teaspoon. And also these ones are not mandatory or you have to have them. No, these are optional. So your cinnamon, which is also going to be 1/2 teaspoon, but I may have gone a little bit overboard. Nutmeg, also 1/2 teaspoon. And then the next thing we're going to add is ground allspice. It's also going to be 1/2 teaspoon. Like I said, these are optional. If you don't have them at home, you don't have to add them to have banana bread. You can have banana bread without the 3 things or spices that I just added. And then, like I said earlier, if you don't have allspice, you are more than welcome to use mixed spice. A lot of the spices that are in both are common, so one probably has one that the other doesn't have, and the other way around. And I sift those up. It also, sifting also helps with just getting everything incorporated and mixing, and of course to get any lumps. But that's what I was doing over there. And once I am done with all of that, I am going to now bring back the banana that I mashed up earlier. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all my wet ingredients now, or I'm going to make my wet mixture. So I melted the margarine that I had, which is about 1/3 of a cup. Yes, 1/3 of a cup of margarine that is melted, or butter, and then 2 large eggs. So I can't crack an egg with one hand. I would love to learn how to do that, but I guess I'll do that in my next life. And then that's a teaspoon of vanilla essence. Mix. You just mix until everything is incorporated. And then I will take now the dry ingredients and add them into my wet mixture. So I'm adding half first, and then I'm just folding that all in so that it incorporates nicely. And then once I'm happy with how the first half of the dry mixture has incorporated, I will go in and add the remaining half of the dry ingredients. So you will notice I'm actually folding it in and trying not to mix. So folding is good, nice. So I added the remaining half of the dry mixture, and then I keep folding it in until everything is nicely incorporated, so that I have a nice batter to transfer into my baking trays. So I just keep folding and folding. It just requires a bit of elbow grease here and there, but hear me out when I say the work is worth it. And already this batter smells amazing. It hasn't gone into the oven yet, but it's amazing. So I'm using these foil baking sheet or trays because I don't have like a bread pan. So I just bought these instead. Well, that's what I had in my house, but when I bought them, I didn't buy them because I wanted to make banana bread. But thankfully I had these. But I don't think there's a traditional rule to use like a bread shaped type of thing, although it's called banana bread. If you have a cake tray, go ahead and use that, please, so you can enjoy some of this goodness. And oh my goodness, it smells amazing. The cinnamon just kicks in, all those other spices all just kick in. It's a whole concert going up in here of flavors and spices and aromas. And the nice thing about cinnamon is it somewhat makes the bread a little bit more warm, because cinnamon has a heat about it, so it makes the banana bread cozy and warm, yes. So obviously I'm scraping that bowl because I don't want to leave anything behind. Fun fact, I never thought I would own Tupperware in my house, because what a Tupperware, but it is what it is. There I am with my Tupperware that I never thought I would own in my house, but it's okay. So I came out with 2 trays instead of 1. That's fine. And I'm gonna pop those into the oven, which was preheating at 180 degrees. So I'm gonna bake the bread also at 180 degrees. Funny, I did not check the time as to how long this will take, so I don't know. So if you're gonna make it, please keep checking it, because Faith did not time the bread. But if you want to be safe, then don't put the heat too high so that you don't burn it. Rather do it slow than to do it at a high heat and then burn your bread. So rather low heat and then take a while. So that's how the bread looks once it's ready to go out of the oven. I was honestly so happy. And once the bread was cooked, my goodness, my house smelled amazing. The kitchen even worse, but you will love this when you try it. So that's literally how you make banana bread. I hope you guys are gonna give this recipe a try. Enjoy every bit of it.